Today we're going to talk about Galaxy of Heroes versus Marvel Strike Force. In the two game modes that we're going to particularly focus on is RTA versus the brand new Conquest mode. And I'm coming to you live from the helicarrier, but we have to go to the battle cruiser and talk to the Grand Admiral Arnold himself. What's up, my guy?
How we doing? This is the Grand Admiral, director of the video game division here at the Galactic Empire, home of the Kyber Club, open 25 for 1 extra hour, 1 extra day partying. All right, how you doing, mobile gamer?
Well, yeah. So I gotta get this out of the way first.
Let's hear it.
You play Marvel Strike Force almost daily?
Every day. I mean, some days I won't finish my dailies completely.
So why don't you make Marvel Strike Force videos?
Time and money. Limited time. That's actually the most important thing. Just so limited time. And besides playing the game, there's other stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And then there's the personal life stuff. So trust me, I play Marvel Strike Force every single day. It's kind of idiotic that I don't make Marvel Strike Force videos. But I just right now, Galaxy keeps me busy. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure it's the same for you when it comes to why don't you make Galaxy of Heroes videos?
That's where I was going to go. It's like, people, are you coming back to Galaxy of Heroes? And the short answer is, I have no time right now. Just none. Yeah. Like, it just comes down to, has nothing to do with anything else. The Galaxy of Heroes looks like it's in a good place. They've made some drastic improvements from where I was, this time last year, from what I could see. I'm in the middle of purchasing a house and moving. I have zero time right now. So we're working on it, right? I might be settled in about a month or so. So maybe I'll look at it again in a month, but right now I just don't have time. So
I gotta say, people are gonna be excited. Hopefully, I'll send some Galaxy of Heroes people over your way. I was dreaming when it's like you said vid question mark. I'm like, what? Vid question mark? I haven't seen that since summer 2020.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done a video. Has it been that long? Okay.
It's been summer, July 2020.
Okay, so let's get to it. So there's a new game mode in Galaxy of Heroes called Conquest. And just give a brief overview of the gameplay in Marvel Strike Force terms, because I know you play both games. So why do we do that?
Okay, so the best way I could probably explain it in terms of Marvel Strike Force, it's kind of like Dark Dimension meets like your light side, dark side campaign battles. That's probably the best way I can possibly put it. It's not the exact, or maybe the better way to put it, it's like Alliance War meets Dark Dimension. Because right now in Dark Dimension, you do a run, and at the end of the run, you get some amazing rewards, right? Whether it's Ultron, Doom, tons of gear, for example. In Galaxy of Heroes, it's kind of the same thing in regards to that, but the best way to put it in Marvel Strike Force terms is in Alliance War is you're seeing some of the top teams, right? You got your X Factor, you got the mercenaries and whatnot. So you're going through a Dark Dimension style run, and you got to pick out of a variety of paths. Pick the path that you think your roster can best beat, because along the way, you might come across mercenaries, or you might come across X-Men. You might come across, give me another example of a team out there.
Marauders, but
Marauders.
it's a 2-week long Dark Dimension, right?
It's a 2-week long Dark Dimension, right? It's not nearly as difficult as Dark Dimension. Dark Dimension is like a multi-month process.
And you can't just use the same team in it over and over again, right? And explain the stamina system and why you have to use your entire roster, because that's kind of a big deal on this.
Yes, this game mode is literally the game mode in Galaxy that makes you use every single possible team inside of your roster, because there's a stamina mechanic. And every time you successfully complete a battle, you lose about 10% of your character stats that were used in that battle. And you can use them at 90%, 80%. They can still get the job done.
So the second time you take them into battle, they'll be running at 90% stats. And they get a percentage back per hour, or how does they recharge?
Every 30 minutes you get 1% back on a character. So in an hour you get 2% back on a character.
So you can't just use the same characters over and over again. And then you have these pathways. You have to make decisions, and so you're trying to take the most efficient team into battle, because you probably want to take a team that you wouldn't use somewhere else. You have to kind of plot your course, and then if you know that Team X counters Team Y, then you use Team X, because that team won't probably get used anywhere else, right? And that way, you just deplete the stamina on them, and that's fine, right? Because you're not going to use them elsewhere.
Right. So you can't, like, for example, you can't just use Black Order to stop over every single team. You can for sometimes, but you're going to start figuring out, all right, well, I got this Phoenix team, or I can't just use Black Order to punch right there. I got to find a different team. So you definitely want to save those best teams for those really tough boss battles that you're going to fight at the end of each sector. There's 5 sectors, and at the end of a sector, there's a big boss battle that you got to come across. And the cool thing is, even if you have some teams that might be a little bit under geared, you know how in Alliance where you got some bonuses that apply to certain rooms. You kind of have that, but we're talking juiced up 500%. There are some crazy data cards that you can equip into your roster that makes you kind of take constant back-to-back turns or juicing up the damage of your leader by like 1,000,000%. So it's almost like this weird sandbox. Like, imagine if you can hack Marvel Strike Force and juice up your characters. That's almost what they allowed you to do, to really take advantage of those lesser used teams. Every single team in Conquest seems like you can take advantage of, whereas in things like Alliance Wars, you're really only using so many teams, right, out of the whole entire roster. This encourages you to use your whole roster because of stamina, and the data cards help you use those lesser used teams to punch up on some teams that would never happen in any other game mode.
Okay, so then let's talk about rewards, and we're going to start comparing this to RTA. And I'll just spell out. RTA has good rewards. You can finish it in about 16 days if you go through it, and you can. And then really RTA, if you pace yourself, you spend about 30 minutes a day. You can clump a large block of time and finish the weekly things, but you can. If you want to 100% it, you can be done in about 16 days. And the rewards are okay, but it costs $20. So tell me what goes on over there in Conquest mode.
So firstly, there's no battle pass for Conquest. At least as of now, there's actually no battle pass in general in Galaxy. Some actually do want it.
You don't have. Wait a minute. You don't have a second battle pass coming in?
No. I'm waiting for the third battle pass for Marvel Strike Force. You know.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. So no battle pass, and there's 2 modes. You have a normal mode, and the next season we're gonna get hard mode unlocked for us. So the rewards are a little bit different, but no matter if you do normal mode or hard mode, there's an exclusive unit tied to it. Think of it kind of like an Ultron or Dr. Doom. But the good thing is, every so often, their plans are to change the exclusive reward. So it's not, like once you get Ultron or Dr. Doom, then you do your timed run. There's really not much reason to go back to Dark Dimension, right?
Right. Right.
Inside of this mode, you might get the new unit, which is the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian, the ship that Mandalorian flew. In the future, they have plans to mix it up, and then they're going to put the Razor Crest somewhere farmable later on. So it's kind of this constant incentive to get an exclusive unit. And the gear's great. It's a 2-week event. I did it in 8 hours while streaming. Some people just blitz through it in 5 hours, but there are people with small rosters. It's kind of hard to compare GP between MSF and Galaxy.
8 hours over 2 weeks is like 30 minutes a day, right?
It's about 30 minutes a day.
Yeah. 30 minutes a day.
Seems to be fairly accessible for people to max out.
So let me ask you a really tricky question. One of the main frustrations in this RTA mode that we have in Marvel Strike Force is that it doesn't really matter if I upgrade my roster at all.
Yeah.
And there's very little incentive to win in the current form. I guess as we're going to get a new version, and it would probably be better. So being that Conquest mode in Galaxy of Heroes doesn't have Battle Pass, how are they making money off of it? Explain to me how they're making money off of it. What are your plans for Conquest based on the way it's set up? How are they making money off of it if there's no Battle Pass tied to it and there's good rewards and an exclusive unit?
It's really weird. I kind of felt this with another game mode in Galaxy. It's called Grandarin, which I really wish Marvel Strike Force had. But this game mode takes it to a whole other level. I, for the first time, want to gear up the rest of my faction, the rest of my roster. There's all these characters I haven't touched because they're not used to any other game mode. This game mode, the bigger the roster you have, the more teams you have, the more fun you have, the more theory crafting you have. So this game mode, although there's not a battle pass, it's inherently fun. And the barriers that you have to work around, the parameters to max out this game mode as efficiently as possible, wants you to have a bigger roster, because you can't, again, as we said, you can't just use 3 or 4 teams. So the bigger the roster,
hold on. Because the game mode is fun, you want to spend money and upgrade your roster? What is this concept? What is this concept at all? I don't understand.
Fun equals money.
You're trying to tell me because you're having fun, you're willing to spend money on the game, not because your arm is twisted and you're compelled and obligated to because of a reward structure or a battle pass?
It's so weird. I want to gear up Tuskens, because Tuskens could be useful. Tuskens are like kind of the Ravager boomers of Marvel Strike Force, basically. So it's like even garbage things like Tuskens could be very useful in select game modes. And it's just so fun seeing teams never be useful. And it gives your top teams a break while you goof around with these trash teams. So it's so weird. Yes, other game modes incentivize me to gear up certain key teams, but this game mode makes me want to gear up every single character possible. It's really weird. It's the first time I've really felt that in this game.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. So it's a game mode where you're playing against AI. It takes you about 2 weeks, has an amazing rewards. It's worth playing. You banged it out in 8 hours. Other people are doing about 30 minutes a day. You use your entire roster. You actually have to think. It's like a miniature puzzle every battle because you can't use the same team over and over again. You have to manage the stamina, and on the screen you can see that it's at 100%. But when you get later on, you're
there are ways to get stamina back too. You don't have to just wait. There are some things you can purchase with the credits that you get over time, or you could use your crystals to buy things to juice up the stamina. So if you really want to keep using the same team over and over again, you can, but that does cost resources to do so. Free to play and
so
pay to
let
play
me
resources.
ask you this. Now you play Marvel Strike Force every day. How much RTA you're playing? You're kind of casual in Marvel Strike Force. You have like a 9 million TCP account, right?
Yeah, it's 9. It's like I think it's just under 9 mil.
Okay, so and you have an 9 million TCP account in Marvel Strike Force. And what is your RTA experience like?
Oh man, I gave it a shot. I think one of the problems is the loading times. It's so funny. Like I compare Galaxy with Marvel Strike Force, and the loading times are like so blatant in Marvel Strike Force, and you forget that you're going into an RTA and you forget to hit auto or something like that. And it really all it is, you just go in, you wait for the load times, and you have to remember to hit auto, and then the other guys hit auto. So it just doesn't feel engaging. I don't know. It's so weird because we've always wanted real time in Grand Arena or inside of Galaxy of Heroes. I play RTA and Marvel Strike Force, and it's like, I do not want this in Galaxy of Heroes. I haven't maxed out any of their rewards in RTA. I have had zero incentive to do so. I have limited time, as I said. It's not a game that I want to spend 30 minutes a day playing. I'd rather do it in raids or the Alliance War or something like that.
Yeah, because the two questions that I ask people about this RTA is would you play it if there were no rewards? And then the second question that I have is because a lot of basically the reward structure in RTA is a function of getting Doctor Doom. If you want Doctor Doom, you're compelled to play it. Yeah, it's just that simple because that's going to be the least expensive way of getting and the most efficient way of getting the pieces needed to go through Dark Dimension 4, which is by most people, the Dark Dimension is perceived as being the best game mode in Marvel Strike Force. And then secondly, because it's player, what does PvP add to this RTA game mode is my next question. All it does is add bad matchmaking and lag and loading times. It doesn't add anything to the experience because we're not in its current form. It doesn't make any sense to want to win or even engage because the problem is that I pick a team and a random team. There's no team. I think that's the core part of Galaxy of Heroes Marvel Strike Force is that not all teams are the same, and this team counters this team, and that's the smarts of this game and your game, knowing what team counters what team. You're going blind teams into blind teams, and so there's the strategy of picking a counter to what your opponent is doing doesn't exist. It's not there.
It's funny. RTA is almost at the point of Conquest if they took out the real-time PvP part, and you can kind of see what you're up against. It's really close to a Conquest, and you got the battle pass, so you have rewards attached to it. I think it's just the real-time PvP aspect. One, you don't know what you're going to get into, and two, the matchmaking's bad, and it seems like 8 out of 10 times both people are just autoing. Because you got like the feats in real RTA, right? There's feats in inside of Conquest. It's not just about winning. There are like little challenges.
Yes, there's little challenges.
Yeah. So Conquest is so close. Maybe if they just got rid of the PvP, the real time part, maybe that could get you close.
Yeah,
to the Conquest aspect.
I think they developed the PvP and they want to use it, but they couldn't figure out how, and so they created a mode that does not benefit from the PvP, and it's like they need to do something else with it, or I feel like it's like they develop so much time making PvP that they have to use it, and they're trying to use it when it's not really good in general. I think because that's like the two complaints is lag, load times, and bad matchmaking, which is a function strictly of PvP. It really is. All right. Anything you want to say before you go?
Man, I'll say this. When I talked to Cerebro a couple months ago, I told him a few things. Like the thing that would make me finally find a time to make videos for Marvel Strike Force is if they added a Grand Arena to Marvel Strike Force And if they added Conquest to Marvel Strike Force, which you guys are so close to having, I think that would be a home run. You're so close to having a very good game mode in Marvel Strike Force, but it just seems like there's this resistance to really kind of develop or build out the RTA system or make some drastic changes to it. There's a lot of things I like about Marvel Strike Force. Over Galaxy Heroes, the gear grind for lower stuff seems a lot easier in Marvel Strike Force than it is for Galaxy Heroes. We still have gear walls of 2016 that haven't been lifted. No. So there are, I just want to say that although this new game mode has been a major success in Galaxy Heroes, I've seen the saltiest people be so positive about this game mode. There are still some things in Galaxy Heroes that are just nowhere close to how Marvel Strike Force is. So I know some things might be bad in Marvel Strike Force land. Galaxy Heroes had many months down into drain while Marvel Strike Force was above ground.
Oh yeah, it's right now. You guys are definitely right now in a better place than where it was. It was not good. Yeah. There was like a year to 18-month period when nothing happened in that game. Nothing new. It felt like they abandoned the game at one point. It almost felt like they were just done and they weren't telling anybody. It really felt that way. It seems like
things are picking up now that they finally retooled the game and they put out this new game mode, which has new features we've never seen before. We'll have to wait and see. The future will tell. But there was a period of time where it felt like this game had no support at all. Marvel Strike Force was partying with the symbiotes and the balanced PvP and all this stuff.
So someone asked me the other day, I've never seen Marvel Strike Force so negative. And do you think it's what do you think is going to happen? And I said, I've seen games bounce. Like I've seen Galaxy of Heroes bounce, and I've seen Marvel Contest of Champions bounce, where it was really bad, and the game came back. You know why? Do you know why they bounced?
Why? They just made
too much money at stake.
Too much money.
Too much money at stake. These games are huge. I mean, when you start making 15, 16, 17, 18 million dollars a month, that is a $1 billion game over years. $1 billion game. There's too much money at stake. They will fix it. And so I really feel like Marvel Strike Force is in that place where they're going to have to fix some things. Galaxy of Heroes did. It just took them a minute.
It took them a minute. I mean, Galaxy Heroes has made more money than Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order. It is their most profitable Star Wars game, and there's such a low cost. There's like I think it's the most profitable Star Wars game of all time. Hands down. It could be. Yeah, and I know it grossed more money than the Solo movie. Think about that. I got a shirt here about. I got a Solo T-shirt on right here. Yeah, and it's like Solo movie didn't gross $1.2 billion. It's crazy, right? Anyways. Yeah, well, keep your hopes up. One thing Marvel Strike Force has is that the community interaction seems to be pretty good, and they seem to be pretty receptive to responding in forum posts and stuff like the Galaxy of Heroes is getting better, but I have hope that it's going to get better in Marvel Strike Force land. There's a lot of good things there. You're just in the rut right now. Let's hope you guys bounce back up. There's too much money at stake. When the game's making this much money, they're not just going to abandon it.
No. I think the game will correct. It's just going to take a couple months. All right. Head over to Arnold's channel and check out Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And if you're not familiar with the Grand Arena mode, I would highly check out one of your streams. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't play the game or understand what's going on, it is a event to watch. I love it. It's the best. You're the best. All right, guys.
Oh, you're the breast.
You know what? I can't say that anymore. Someone said that they thought that I was saying that you're depressed because depressed sounds you're depressed. I was like, no, I'm not telling anybody they're depressed. That's terrible. You're the best. But when I say depressed, they think I'm saying depressed anyways.
Destroyer of words.
I know, and I didn't even mean to destroy that. That just happened anyways. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and keep on gaming. Bye.
Keep on gaming. Oh, jeez. I miss making videos with you.
I know, man. It's been great. We have to figure out how to do it again.
Oh, man.